All right, guys, here we are. We're back again for another video. This week, it's been really pretty quick turnaround this week because Chelsea plays against Man United this Friday. If you're in London or in the UK, it's 8 o'clock at night Friday. Great way to start your weekend, hopefully. If you're where I'm at in Eastern United States, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I might not actually be able to watch it, unfortunately. But either way, it should be a good match. It's against, bottom of the table type of opposition. I think they're in 17th right now. Them and Tottenham are the two teams right above the relegation zone, which isn't that just absolutely crazy. Also, I hope you know, and you might hear little chirps every now and again from my boy Chewy. He's making a cameo today. I'll show him real quick. Here he is. This is my boy, our corgi. His name's Chewy. Anyway, we're hanging out, so hopefully he participates well during this video. So before we jump into the sim on FC25, there's just something real quick that I want to talk about with you guys, and that's basically the little bit of a tricky situation that we have going on at the top of the pitch. Why is that, you might ask? That all depends on whether or not you watched the match against Newcastle. So basically, the game was going already not well. They scored, Sandro Tonali scored in, I think, the 8th minute of the match. We were down 1-0, but started to calm down. And then Nico Jackson decided to stop playing football and decided to opt into combat sports. He took a look over his shoulder at Sven Botman, put his forearm into his head. Whether or not you think it was egregious, worthy of a red card, honestly, out of the question. Bottom line is he saw him, he knew where he was at, and he should have control of his own appendages, and he didn't. So, dumb decision, but these are the consequences. And the consequences are, unfortunately, not just a one-match ban, but a two-match ban as a result, I believe, of accumulation, which is a constant problem with Nico, which is a talk for another day. But anyway, because of that, he's going to miss both the Man United match on this Friday, as well as the season finale against Nottingham Forest. So I guess you better be hoping for a good performance in the UACL final. But anyway, because of that, we're left in a tricky situation. We have basically two options, if you think about it, and that's what we're going to talk about real fast. So let's go ahead and hop over there and take a look at something. Okay, guys, so if you look right over here on the screen, I'm looking at Chelsea.news, and they released an article about Mark Gue. And essentially what we see here is that he is not going to be available for this match or probably the match against Nottingham Forest either. So that's a big bummer to me because honestly, that was kind of my preferred option. I think his energy, his tenacity, how rough he plays the game, his press is incessant at the top. If you guys remember that, he scored 6 goals in 6 matches in the Conference League, which is a great return, obviously. He would be my top option because he is a striker's striker. I think he brings a lot of good stuff to the game. But this right here, if you guys are looking, this section right here, for this quote from Enzo Maresca was right after the Newcastle game, and this kind of highlights the issue. He says this: Nico Jackson, is our 9. He's our striker. The other one is Mark Gue, that is already injured from the last 3 months. He's close to being back, and we need to find a different solution for the last 2 games. They're both important games. So bottom line, we see Mark Gue is not going to be available. So that's option 1, denied. Okay, option 2 though. The option 2, this is a real interesting one. And this is the option I think is likely. Tyrique George. So he is this 19-year-old breakout star who is this teenager that's broken into this unbelievably expensive squad, right, without having to go on a loan. So big ups to him. And he's had a lot of appearances. I was reading on SofaScore that I think he's had around 1,700 minutes across all comps for Chelsea this season. So awesome for him. Around 7 goal contributions for the senior squad, which is also really good for a 19-year-old in his premier season at the top level. But the question is, in what capacity will he be playing? Because the question of whether or not he'll be in the front line is not really something we're curious about. Because let's think about some quick math here, right, about who the options are. We have Christopher Nkunku, who's MIA. I don't know if... I was trying to find some stats about this. I don't know where he's at. I think there's just some kind of gentleman's agreement that he's not going to play and we're going to sell him. So he's gone. Nico Jackson, gone, as we just talked about. And then Mark Yu, not ready yet. Mikhailo Mudryk, no words needed, unfortunately. And lastly, Jadon Sancho. I don't know if you guys thought about this. Jadon Sancho cannot play in this game because Man United is still his home club until he becomes a permanent transfer this summer, which I will believe happen. So that leaves us with essentially 3 senior attackers. And one of those senior attackers is Tyrique George. So we have Pedro Neto, we have Nani Madueke, and we have Tyrique George. So I really don't see that many options except Tyrique playing. The question is, in what capacity will he play? So let's go ahead and hop over to a squad builder and look at the 2 options. And I want you guys to leave in the comments, are you going to vote for option 1 or option 2? So let's hop over there real fast. Okay, guys, so this is option 1. So you see here we have Nani on the left because I think he's going to stay there the rest of the season. He's been performing fine, and we don't have other options, especially in this game where Jadon can't play. Nani on the left, Tyrique through the middle, and Pedro Neto on the right. Perks to this. Pedro Neto is in his preferred spot at right wing, where he's been effective lately. And Tyrique, believe it or not, he looks scrawny. He does not look like a big guy that's going to be able to hold his own against Premier League defenders. But the commentators were talking about this in one of the previous matches. He's a lot stronger than he initially seems. His ability to hold people off the ball and hold up the ball for his other attackers to join with him is surprisingly effective. And I think that he's proven to be a decent option in that middle position. I think he looks fairly comfortable there. And again, it allows Pedro Neto to perform in the place on the field that he is most comfortable and most effective. And then Nani Madueke has been very, I think, serviceable at the left wing position until we have our other options available again, at least, right? So this is option number 1. Nani on the left, Pedro on the right, Tyrique through the middle. Option number 2 is so different. I know it's not very different because we don't have any other options. I don't even think we're gonna have really a real front man option on the bench unless we bring probably Shim Mayuka will probably be on the bench. Nani's still on the left, Pedro through the middle, and Tyrique on the right. The perks to this, I would say we've seen Pedro Neto have flashes of being okay through the middle. I'm saying okay because I'm not getting too excited about this. He's obviously not the primary hope for option through the middle. But what I will say that he offers really good pace and really good runs in behind the defense, which is a good option. I don't think he is as good at holding up the ball. I don't think believe it or not, I actually think Tyrique has a better ability to do that. But Pedro brings a little bit more experience in the middle of the pitch, and Tyrique, kind of with less experience, getting to be in more of a natural position on the wing could be a positive. So again, there's pros and cons of both. What do you guys think is best? Again, I'll show you one more time. Option 1, Tyrique through the middle, or option 2, Pedro Neto through the middle. That's the question. What do you think we're going to see? But before we do any more of this, guys, let's go ahead and hop over to FC25 and build a squad together. All right, guys, so yeah, here we are in FC25. If you don't remember, all we do is we build a squad together, we sim it, and we hope for the best. Kind of funny, I was looking here, and it's kind of similar places here for Chelsea and Man United in the sim, just 2 off for each of us, right? In Chelsea in real life, we're in 5th, we're doing worse, probably because I'm handling it. We're 7th here, and then Man United is 16th. They're doing slightly better here. They're in 14th. Similar ideas, though. So let's go ahead and hop in. There are a few interesting decisions we're going to have to make with the lineup. So first off, what I want to handle, Nico and Jadon will not be participating at all in this game, right? Because Nico, again, Mr. Forearms, can't participate in the match. We'll throw Tyrique in there. We'll decide where we play him in a second. And then Jadon will also not be able to play because it's against, again, like we talked about, his parent club. So he will not be participating either. So let's go ahead and throw Pedro in there. But we're not going to... Do we start with the top? Yeah, let's start with the top because we're here already. I'm hoping you guys are talking about, maybe I want to hear your opinions about option 1 or 2. Option 1 being Tyrique George through the middle. Option 2 being Pedro Neto through the middle. I'm curious what your opinion is. I am going to opt for the option of having the teenager through the middle, having Tyrique up top in the 9 position. The reason for that is kind of, I hinted at it when we were talking about it. I like his ability to hold play up. I like that he's physical. I like that he's very confident in himself. I think that is evident for sure. And again, I think that this allows our natural, strong senior wingers to really assert themselves on the wings, which some of you might argue, well, you got to have somebody assert themselves in the middle. But my point is, Pedro Neto is not a striker either, so I'd rather have him assert himself where he's comfortable. Let's be effective there, because we don't even have the majority of our goals as a team come from the striker position anyway. So let's have our effective guys on the wing. So this is what I'm doing up top. Tell me what you think. I'm having Nani on the left, Tyrique through the middle, and Pedro Neto on the right. And then in the midfield, I'm going to change this up a little bit as well. Cole's going to stay there. He's got to. He played it fine, I think, against Newcastle. He seems confident. He didn't, contribute, obviously. No one did with a goal contribution, but I think he looked fine. I think he's looking better, back to his old self, which is good. Enzo will stay there. I do love his passion. I think he's a good captain in the absence of Reece from the team. Some of you might disagree with me on this. I'm not putting Caicedo in that right back position because I necessarily think it's the thing for the future, but I'm keeping it there because I don't like it when we chop and change different lineups every single game. Oh, well, it worked against Liverpool, but it didn't work against Newcastle. Let's change it all again immediately. I think that's a bad way to coach. So I want to keep this kind of system that we had going for at least one more game where we have Lavia playing kind of in this pivot role with Enzo Fernandez, and then Caicedo from the right back position when we have possession, shifting into the midfield and pushing Enzo up. I like what it offers in the athleticism in the midfield. I've talked about that before. I like that it allows Enzo to push more forward. And also I like that it continues to give Reece this really elongated introduction into prolonged minutes in the squad. So I'm going to keep it as so with Enzo and Lavia in the midfield, and then Caicedo slotting into right back. And that brings us into the back line. So at right back, I'm going to keep Moy there. I don't like not playing Reece or Mallow because I actually am a fan of both of them. And it's kind of funny not having either in the lineup. But Reece, I don't trust for 90 minutes. I'd rather him come on and make a difference from the bench if he's not going to play a full match yet. And Mallow, is he injured right now? No, he's not. But I think he's fine to possibly just get some minutes. Even get some minutes for Mark because, he never gets a break. So anyway, the center back pairing, it's not changing for me right now. Trev and Levi are probably going to be the center back pairing for the rest of the season in my book. The only person I would consider putting there for Trev is maybe Tosin. Benoit, I still just don't. Jury's out on him. What is your guys' opinion on Badiashile? I don't know what I really think of him at this point. So yeah, Trev and Colwell, and then Mark on the left. I'm going to keep that the same. And then Rob keeps his place. Jorgensen will probably, I'd imagine, get the final in the Conference League, but I think Rob will keep his place here the rest of the season. So starting from the top, we have teenager Tyrique playing as our striker. On the left, we have Nani Madueke. On the right, Pedro Neto. And then in the 10, we got Cole. And then Enzo and Lavia behind him. And then kind of joining in that midfield when we're in possession, we got Moises. And then Trev Chalobah and Levi hopefully holding down the fort in the center back pairing. And then Mark on the left, Rob Sanchez again in net. One interesting thing to keep an eye on, guys. I actually need to switch this. I have Sancho on the bench. He will not be on the bench. And probably none of these people will either. I'm going to put Mark there for now, and then I'm going to put Matisse Mugu in for Nkunku, because I don't think either of those guys will even make the bench. So what does that make an interesting recipe for? We don't really have a substitute for the front three. What might happen? I think what could possibly happen is that we see Kieran and Dewsbury Hall slot in, or more than likely Reece James come into the midfield, and then Cole Palmer slots up to play right wing, and maybe that is something that alleviates one of our front three players, but there's not a lot of rotation we're going to be able to have, guys. So I'm interested to see, what do you think is going to happen? But anyway, that's our squad. Let's go ahead and sim this match and hope for the best. It's against Man United, so this weekend, or this Friday night, guys, we have to win this game. And let me tell you, I think we will. I think we're going to win this game, and I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say it's going to be by a lot. Man United is abysmal. I don't care about their name. I don't care about their crest. I don't care about the color they wear on their shirt. They're a terrible team. You guys should go look up Ruben Amorim's quote about what he said about his team. He basically said, we don't fear losing. It's the worst thing that could happen to a club. You can have your own thoughts about how you talk about your own team. I get being critical, but doesn't vote a lot of confidence for his own team. They're terrible. They're a terrible team. There's a reason they're in 16th. There's a reason they have a negative 11 goal difference. There's also a reason why they have 17 losses in the Premier League this year. Guys, they're not a good team. So it's a big six club, which makes me a little hesitant, but I'm gonna predict a big win in real life because I think that's what should happen, and I think it was what could happen. I think we're gonna win 4-1 in real life. But let's see what happens in the sim and see if that bodes well. Quick sim, let's go. And we have a 1-0 loss to Man United on a goal from Alejandro Garnacho. Terrible. If this happened, it'd be a bad start to the weekend, let me tell you. Real bad start to the weekend. I don't even want to look at the player performances. Can somebody tell me if in FC25 simulation, do I need to turn down the difficulty in order to create more realistic simulations? Because go back and watch the videos from weeks past. I don't know if I've ever seen us have more than maybe 5 shots in a game. And even the opposition. So I don't know what's up with that. Because, you know, in real games, it's like 10 plus easily for both teams normally. So terrible result. But anyway, thankfully that's in the simulated life. I will say that kills the chances of qualifying for Champions League in the simulation. They were kind of already dead, but they're real dead now. So anyway, happy thoughts. Let's move on to thinking about this weekend. So yeah, guys, that's kind of the end of our video for today. Poor sim, terrible sim, but ultimately the questions still remain for us as the game comes up this Friday. Who do you think is going to start in the front three for us? Is it going to be Tyrique? Is it going to be fill in the blank somebody else, a midfielder maybe? Who do you think it's going to be? Leave that comment down below. And if you haven't, go ahead, like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. It's fun building this community together. And we do this every week, so it's going to be fun to continue to do this and do some different things this summer as well as we're out of season. So anyways, up the Blues, and I'll see you this coming week.